I'm just, when I was a kid, I used to ponder that question of whether the red I saw was the red you saw, and I never knew anybody else who wondered about that.
I was just thinking that maybe the question also isn't how we see, but why do we see? The why sometimes are more compelling than the hows. And I like what Professor Muller said about gratitude, but the problem for many of us is we feel gratitude, or Starhawk said we feel awe, but we don't know where to place it. And so what we place a kind of faith in, I suppose, in many instances, is ritual in itself. You pray, and you pray with faith, I presume, but there are prayers that go, no. Okay. There are prayers that go out there just almost ritualistically. Recently I had Stephen Greenblatt on my radio program. He was talking about this extraordinary poem by Lucretius that was rediscovered on the nature of things, and there's a sense of that causing a swerve in modernity to make us maybe think of it as a modern age, more secular and more sort of uprooted, and with atoms constantly in collision and all of that. But the thesis that he was working with was the idea that we can have ritual, and ritual can be very meaningful to us, and ritual can make us connected with other human beings and with ourselves, and with something that feels like it's numinous, it feels like it's palpable beyond ourselves. But what that is, I think, is part of the mystery that either you feel alive with or you feel confounded by.
Dr. Keshgegian, what is the role of the...
Can I respond to Michael?
Yeah, go ahead.
You seemed surprised when I said I don't have faith. I don't have faith. I don't like faith. Faith is what you have when you're a kid and you believe in Santa Claus. Faith is when there's no evidence for what someone's telling you and they just want you to believe it anyway. I don't like faith. To me, the spiritual...
You said you believe that you have a soul. That to me is faith.
No. I perceive that. I see it. It isn't based on someone telling me I have a soul. I am aware of it. I know it. It is true knowledge. Faith is faith in something that someone tells you you should believe in, even though the evidence is against it or because there's no evidence whatsoever. To me, the soul is so completely obvious. It's the most fundamental observation.
Could you define what you mean by soul? Is it simply sentience?
I cannot define it in physics sense, but I can do it through...
Awareness?
To me, it's Aretha Franklin's singing.
No.
And always will be. No, I don't know how you can speak about a soul in any concrete way. I mean, it doesn't...
You mean in any physics way?
Well, you're a physicist. And
Right, I cannot. I can only do it by example, by describing things like colors and so on, which you can misinterpret. And you might think it's something to do with psychology, but I can't do it in physics terms because it's a world of knowledge that is outside of the world of physics. I believe it's one of the most misinterpreted statements of all time is Descartes when he said, "I think, therefore I am." I believe this is what he meant. What he meant is somewhere behind that brain there is a soul. And because there is something in that soul there, I know I exist.
Forgive me, but we read Cartesian philosophy entirely differently. What Descartes said when he said, "Cogito ergo sum," was, I am the subject and there is an object that is outside of me and the two are split. And maybe that's part of the irrationality that we can't understand, that our rational processes can't really comprehend. I cannot comprehend there being a soul. And I wish I could, but I think it's a leap of faith in order to believe that. If you talk about seeing the color red, there are synesthesiacs, for example, who look and they see different colors than you see. They see numbers as colors. Does that mean what they're seeing?
About that too. That's
Well,
the subject.
does that mean what they're seeing is real? I don't know. I mean, it's not what I see is real.
Well, there's nothing about color that's real at all, in fact. There is no color in the natural world. Color is a way that your brain interprets certain information in order to portray it for you in an efficient way that allows you to go through the world without constantly having to think, what is the wavelength of the radiation bouncing off the building? But there is no color in the universe.
That's what I learned from my sixth grade teacher.
But it is purely a manifestation of the virtual reality in which and that's why you can see glitches in the program where some people see numbers as colored and vice versa.
I mean, my reaction is you didn't understand.
Well, I want to say something about faith. I think your definition of faith is incredibly narrow, and nobody can live on this earth without faith. All of us in this room
are here because we have faith that the ceiling won't collapse. We have faith that when we walk out of here, the air will not assault us in some way. If we didn't, we wouldn't be able to exist on this planet. And that's why we get so jarred when the ceiling does collapse. You know, I moved to California and I was told, you know, when I walked into a room to check it out, maybe, you know, and see where the exits were in case of an earthquake, it was a whole way different for me to situate myself in the world because I have not lived someplace where I have to worry about earthquakes. So to me, faith is about trust, and we just have a basic trust that we can have life. Otherwise, we just couldn't be here. Now, you can fashion that faith and define it in particular ways, but faith is a fundamental aspect of what it means to be human. It doesn't have to be religious faith, but a faith in life, a faith in other people, that connection is possible. It's interesting to me, we were talking about seeing. I also want to talk about being seen. There's a way in which, you know, seeing and being seen have to go together if there's going to be a real connection. And so, to me, those are the fundamental things that allow us to live our lives.
I appreciate your characterizing my thinking as narrow. It makes me more humble here.
Well, I was talking about...
Well, no, but I use the word faith about soul. I think that if you believe there is a soul, then you have faith that there is a soul. That comes from what I would characterize as...
I agree with that thing.
I still don't know what a soul
But
is.
I don't think about soul. I'm the theologian here, and that is not a term I think about, worry about, write about.
What can you, what's a classic definition for a soul?
Not a term I think about, but, you know,
Breath of God?
classically it is, I mean, you can go back to Plato, and it is the most real part of a person. So it is real in a way in which physicality, mind are not real.
So is it reptilian or
This is Plato.
Is surviving after death a necessary property of the soul, or no?
No,
Then wouldn't you just be describing it as self?
I'm just quoting Plato.
He's dead, so...
So we can't defend
Well, in
him.
that sense, he's not dead, right?